Today's war does not explode in battlefields, but resonates with each screen, in every soft speech that teaches you to shut up, conform, and mutilatically mutilate. There are no tanks on the streets, but there is an invisible artillery of ideas shaped to empty man inside. A culture that was silently reprogrammed to ridicule the masculine, discredit the strong, ridicule the disciplined, and praise what is passive, fluid, and empty. Being a man is no longer a gift. It has become a social burden. The death of masculinity did not happen at once. She was dissolved drop by gout, addiction to addiction, until virility became a museum piece. You feel that something inside you are asleep, as if an old force called you. But the modern world did everything to keep you distracted, weak, empty. My name is Layert, and this is Gods of Semen, the channel that will awaken you. With years of study, practice, and spiritual deepening, I found that seminal retention is not a technique. It is a forgotten code that can unlock your true male potential. Here, you will understand how to transform sexual energy into focus, clarity, mental mastery, physical vitality, and connection with the divine. If you are tired of waking up without energy, feeling that your life has lost purpose, if you suffer from anxiety, procrastination, and a constant feeling of being sabotaged by something invisible, you are in the right place. Because all this starts with what you deliver, or choose retain, and I will show you why. Stay with me until the end of this video, because what I will reveal will turn your key inside. Subscribe now to the channel, activates the bell, and helps us hit the goal of 25,000 subscribers. This is not just a channel, it is a movement. And if you feel the call, it's because it's already part of it. And the symptoms are everywhere. Men who wake up every day feeling that there is something missing. They go to work, they come home, but they carry the same emptiness in their eyes that they carry in their soul. They feel they need to prove something, but they no longer know what. They are disconnected from themselves, lost in a world that has convinced them that there is no honor to be a man. Pornography exhausts them, social networks compare them, and excess of stimulus turns them into reactive peels. It is not personal weakness, it is part of a project. The man was dismantled piece by piece, and few realized. The truth is bitter. Being male has become social crime. If you raise your voice, you are aggressive. If it makes decisions, it is oppressive. If you are seeking mastery of yourself, it is called toxic. The new ideal is harmless man, shaped by the fear of making mistakes, controlled by the guilt of existing. Any remnants of strength is immediately taxed as a threat. This is no longer justice. It is control. The world does not want you to be dangerous in a good way. You want you to be domesticated, predictable, anesthetized. And how was this possible? Through the kidnapping of your energy, not with chains, but with distractions, pornography, addictions, processed food, infinite scroll. All of this seems pleasure, but it is drainage. All of this seems freedom, but it is prison. The enemy did not come with weapons. He came with dopamine. The man who gives in to everything, who seeks relief all the time, never builds anything. You are always too busy seeking the next pleasure to ask yourself what was done from your mission. Thus, one generation is destroyed, not with bombs, but with clicks. There is a time when man decides to leave the cycle, when he closes the doors of immediate pleasure and chooses the silent discipline. Something changes in the invisible. The man who retains is no longer predictable. He escapes the claws of the system that domesticated him with daily orgasms and empty distractions. Suddenly, he is no longer manipulable. With each day, he holds his seed, he rebuilds his own sovereignty. Retention is not just resistance, it is liberation. It's the invisible gesture to say, I command my body, not you. And the system, which profits from its weakness, feels this break as an earthquake. The transformation is subtle at first, but deep. Without constant loss of energy, man begins to see more sharply. The world, which once seemed confusing and noisy, becomes clear and strategic. The mental fog dissipates. Focus, discipline, conscience arises. Not because he has read a self-help book, but because his spiritual biology is reorganizing. The retained semen is not just a matter, it is code. And when this code is preserved, it rises toward vision. He stops being only body and becomes spirit in a state of readiness. It is like wearing an invisible armor that repels distractions and calls purpose. The body also changes, but the most real mutation is in the presence. Men who practice retention develop a difficult aura to ignore. It is as if the air around them became denser. They don't have to scream or impose themselves. Their energy does it for them. They do not enter a place. They invade the vibrational field of the environment. People look. Some feel attracted. Others are bothered. Because retention makes man vibrate differently. And this vibration reveals who is living in the light and who is accommodated in darkness. The presence comes to speak louder than the words, and then the cycle is reversed. The man who once ran behind begins to be followed. People feel something different. Women, once indifferent, are observed. Men, once mocking, come to respect, even if they do not admit. The king's archetype is restored, but not a king of appearances, a king who reigns upon himself, a king who rules his impulses and therefore does not bow before any system. Retention does not turn you into saint. It transforms you into sovereign. And when you sit on the throne of your own soul, no one else can move you to force. If you think all this is an exaggeration, look more closely. Each application, each automatic suggestion, every exposed body advertising, every drink encouraged as freedom, everything is interconnected. Nothing is by chance. The system doesn't just want you to come. He wants you to empty your essence every day. Pornography, alcohol, shallow entertainment, all are male energy drainage channels. Exhausted men do not fight. Entered men do not question. Sexually fragile men become easy puppets to manipulate. The war is real, only that fought in the field of frequency and desire. Each lost drop takes away more than fluid, brings together will, courage, clarity, and a sense of mission. Seminal energy is the raw material of your ability to resist. When you pour without consciousness, you become spiritually vulnerable, emotionally, and even physically. Retention is psychic survival in a world built for your distraction. You think you are relieving, but you are surrendering. You think you are just relaxing, but you are fragmenting. The real battlefield is in your dark room, not headlines. And the darkest is that the system celebrates each relapse in silence. Did you fall? Excellent. Another tamed body, another expired man. They don't have to arrest you. You just have to attach yourself alone. And you do this each time you choose pleasure instead of purpose. Each time you hide behind screens instead of getting up to build something. They know that the more weak men exist, the easier it is to keep control. Addiction is the food of the matrix. Every weakness of yours is a profit for them. But when you say no, everything shakes. The man who decides to retain, who denies the system's invisible appeals, becomes a threat, because he proves that it is possible to resist. He shows that self-dominance is more powerful than any algorithm. The free man is the unpredictable man. He does not obey for fear, does not consume by emptiness, does not bend by usual. And that is precisely why the world tries to silence it, ridicule, or divert it. But it's too late. He woke up. And who wakes up to their own power does not go back to sleep. There is a secret that the system will never tell you. Within your semen, there are old, forgotten, sacred codes. Each drop carries vibrational intelligence that cannot be reproduced or replaced. When you hold, these codes start to reactivate. Something dormant awakens. his soul begins to access frequencies that were buried under the excess of stimulus. You start to feel, perceive, to intuit. It is as if your inner compass came back to the north, and you realize that you don't have to seek God out, because the temple is inside. The libido, which was once only unbridled desire, begins to be transmuted. It becomes clarity, strength, initiative. You are no longer a consumer of pleasure and becomes a reality creator. It is at this moment that men begin to raise empires, not just external, but inner. They are no longer slaves to impulse and become timelines. The man who holds does not expect the ideal moment. He acts, he leads, he decides. Because retention moves the energy from genitalia to vision. And with vision, every empire begins. If you feel your soul is restless, as if something sacred inside you are trying to wake up, this is the moment that can turn your journey forever. I present to you my new book, Alchemy of the Gods, a deep work that reveals the hidden mysteries of Kundalini, the vibrational secrets of crystalline oil, and the royal path to spiritual liberation. This book is not just reading, it is a reconnection manual with its divine essence. And to make this knowledge accessible to everyone, it is available in physical, digital, and audiobook format, allowing you to dive into this content where and as you like. You will find out how to align body, mind, and spirit, unlock ancestral energy trauma, and activate forgotten power centers in your being. This knowledge has the power to change your frequency, your worldview, and your daily reality. It's all here, and it all starts with a click. Now get the link in the description or in the fixed comment and start your transformation. But first of all, I have a novelty that you didn't expect. I just launched audiobook exclusive Semen Retention Success Path with over 2 hours of revealing content about the 6 essential pillars of seminal retention. This audiobook is the definitive key to unlocking its vital energy, restoring its focus, and achieving a lasting state of discipline, clarity, and self-control. Listen in the car, training, or silence of your room. It was made to accompany you when you need to reconnect with your mission. What's more, when purchasing audiobook today, you get 30% off the ebook, The Art of Semen Retention for Men, a 20-page guide with advanced spiritual evolution, emotional balance, and activation of your life purpose. This combo has been designed for men who want to stop surviving and start transcending. And if you want to go even deeper on this journey, become a member here of the channel. Members have early access to videos, priority answers in the comments, and unique content. In addition, your contribution maintains this movement alive, helping to bring this truth to more men around the world. Click on the link below, start your transformation now, and join the brotherhood of those who have decided to wake up. And this new energy does not go unnoticed. On the contrary, it bothers you. The presence of a retainer man bothers those who live in darkness. Its energy has density, has weight, is true. It is not light as one of those who dissipate with each stimulus. She is firm, silent, uncomfortable. It generates discomfort in the insecure, irritates the manipulators, scares the weak, but inspires those ready to wake up. The retainer carries a fire that cannot be explained, and this fire burns everything around it that is illusion. But it's not just about holding on, it's about channeling. Power is not in accumulating for pride or repression, but in redirecting this force for greater purposes. Retention is the beginning. Transmutation is the way. You start holding, but ends by channeling. For projects, for prayers, for creations, for struggles that really matter. The true spiritual warrior is not the one who runs away from pleasure, but the one who dominates and converts him into light. This is the man who becomes his own God, not because he is divine, but because he recognizes the divine who carries within. We live in an impulsive, driven society. Everything is designed to keep you reactive, reacting to desire, comparison, fear, lack. Most men revolve around what they feel. The retainer, Number. He revolves around the mission. He wakes up with purpose, not lazy. It acts by decision, not by necessity. This is the difference that changes everything. Because while others are conducted by invisible currents, it is guided by an inner axis. He broke the cycle. He left the cage of immediate pleasure and started to inhabit the field of eternal construction. And when he breaks free from the need for female validation, something even more powerful happens. He becomes irresistible. Not because it tries to impress, but precisely because it doesn't need it anymore. He failed to seek to be approved, to start observed. The energy that was once wasted trying to please now pulsates like silent magnetism. He moves away from the game, so he becomes the prize. Women realize, and many do not understand why they feel attracted. It is because the man who does not need is the man who emanates. And more than attracting, it inspires, intimidated, and reveals, not with speeches, but with presence. Your posture is firm, your word is rare, your attention is precious. He does not waste energy, time, or look, and that turns it into a mirror. When he enters an environment, he exposes what is missing in others. His light reveals the darkness of others. His firmness denounces the instability around. It is not he who accuses, it is his vibration that bothers. He became a silent reference to everything that others avoid being. But don't expect applause. The world does not celebrate who breaks free, tries to silence. The retainer is a threat because it proves that it is possible to be free. He dismantles the illusion that man needs to surrender to be accepted. So they mock, criticize, attack. It's not personal, it's spiritual. The world is afraid of those who have become whole. And that's why the journey of retention is lonely but glorious. Because while many kneel out of comfort, the retainer remains standing, building in silence, vibrating at another level, unbreakable. Modern masculinity was disconnected from its sacred roots. Today, man lives as if it was just flesh, desire, and distraction. But this is a recent lie. The ancestral man was more than a body that acts. He was a warrior, priest, and builder. He protected, he prayed, he built. His strength was not only physical, it was spiritual. There was honor in his silence, purpose in his rights, power in his presence. He knew that his mission went beyond surviving. It was to perpetuate life with meaning, to protect his own, and to align with the sacred. When modern man lost this connection, he also lost his identity. Over time, the male archetype was distorted. From hunter, it became just a consumer. Of leader, it became a dependent. What was once a provision instinct became a vice of distraction. Consumer culture rewritten man so that he would no longer create, but only want what never quenches. They stole from him the spirit of the creator and gave in return the client's profile. They stole the silence and implemented the noise. Today's man is content with stimulus, so he forgot how he feels heed. But the ancient archetype still lives in its genetics, hoping to be reactivated. And that is precisely why retention is more than a practice. It is a return. She lights memories that were sleeping. The body recognizes. The soul awakens. The man who holds begins to feel things that do not come from books, but from his own spiritual lineage. It is as if an ancestral bonfire burn again in the center of his chest. The body reorients itself, the instincts are organized, and silence is a master again. Man returns to his primordial state, integer, self-centered, present. He stops running after pleasure and walks with purpose. It is not a fashion, it is a renaissance. The ancients knew semen was life. He was honored, protected, offered with intention. It was seen as divine energy, vital essence, generation fuel, and transmutation. Today, he is thrown away as digital waste, lost in screens, ridiculed in jokes. This is the true desecration of the sacred masculine, transforming what was temple into sewage. The collapse of masculinity did not start with ideological discourses, but with the trivialization of essence. When man began to treat his seed as something disposable, he lost respect for himself. And there is only one way to reverse it. Remember, retain, rebuild. You said, the war you face not only reaches your body, it aims at your soul. Each physical weakness is preceded by a spiritual breach. No man falls by chance. Before the click, there was tiredness. Before the relapse, there was discouragement. Before the error, there was disconnection. The enemy does not manifest with shouts, but with subtle suggestions, loaded atmospheres, feelings that gradually weaken you. True battle is not against the external world, but against what tries to disarm you inside. The field is invisible, but the damage is real. And this war is inhabited by spiritual intelligences that operate in silence. Spirits of apathy, addiction, and distraction are everywhere, waiting for your distraction, feeding on your discharge. Each time you surrender to empty pleasure, something is drained, something that doesn't come back. They do not need to. Own your body. Just stay addicted, weakened, anesthetized. Pornography, for example, is not just an image. It is a ritual of connection with low frequencies. You think you are having fun, but you are opening spiritually to forces that want you inert. When you retain, you declare war against all this. His choice silences the algorithms, but arouses the fury of those who fed on your fall. Therefore, attacks increase when you start. Temptations from nowhere arise. Ancient memories resurface. Impulses come back hard. It is the counterattack. The invisible tries to pull you back, because you know what is at stake. It's not just your clean body, it's your armored soul. Retention is not just physical practice, it is spiritual positioning. Each no you say reverberate in the invisible field like a crash, and the enemy feels. The battle is daily, silent, invisible. But there is a shield, the vibration. The retaining man creates a force field around him. Your energy thickens, your frequency rises. Low spirits cannot inhabit the same space. You don't have to expel anything with words. Your presence is enough. It is as if your soul is surrounded by invisible walls that repel the attack. But this shield only remains constancy. It's not about winning one day. It's about staying at war every day. Because while you vibrate in light, darkness retreats. And in this invisible field, only men who dominate themselves remain standing. When man awakens his true essence, something changes in the world around him and is not welcome. The environment where you grew up, the people you lived with, the systems you were used to, none of them are prepared for your change. Its evolution threatens comfort zones. You get up with a different posture, speak clearly, walk with direction. And that disturbs who is stagnant. Because you, just being, highlights what others are not. His silence becomes a complaint. Your discipline becomes a front. His energy becomes an invisible confrontation. Rejection begins to emerge without clear motives. People move away. Looks change. Comments come up. But that's not what you do. It's what you vibrate. The vibration of the king does not supplicate space. It occupies it. And when she enters a place, she shakes everything that is small, pretended, shallow. The king is a mirror that exposes the lack of royalty in others. And those who live in spiritual darkness cannot stand being exposed. So they will avoid you, ridicule you, erase you. But this is when you understand. What rejects you, in fact, recognizes you. You stop following, start commanding. Not by desire for control, but by presence. Your voice changes. It gets firmer. Your posture changes. It gets more erect. Your field changes, attracts and repels at the same time. You stop asking permission to exist and begin to mark territory. The king's archetype does not follow fashion, opinion, or algorithm. It follows mission, vision, and principles. And when this is activated in you, own your body. Just stay addicted, weakened, anesthetized. Pornography, for example, is not just an image. It is a ritual of connection with low frequencies. You think you are having fun, but you are opening spiritually to forces that want you inert. When you retain, you declare war against all this. His choice silences the algorithms, but arouses the fury of those who fed on your fall. Therefore, attacks increase when you start. Temptations from nowhere arise. Ancient memories resurface. Impulses come back hard. It is the counterattack. The invisible tries to pull you back, because you know what is at stake. It's not just your clean body, it's your armored soul. Retention is not just physical practice, it is spiritual positioning. Each no you say reverberate in the invisible field like a crash, and the enemy feels. The battle is daily, silent, invisible. But there is a shield, the vibration. The retaining man creates a force field around him. Your energy thickens, your frequency rises. Low spirits cannot inhabit the same space. You don't have to expel anything with words. Your presence is enough. It is as if your soul is surrounded by invisible walls that repel the attack. But this shield only remains constancy. It's not about winning one day. It's about staying at war every day. Because while you vibrate in light, darkness retreats. And in this invisible field, only men who dominate themselves remain standing. When man awakens his true essence, something changes in the world around him, and is not welcome. The environment where you grew up, the people you lived with, the systems you were used to, none of them are prepared for your change. Its evolution threatens comfort zones. You get up with a different posture, speak clearly, walk with direction, and that disturbs who is stagnant. Because you, just being, highlights what others are not. His silence becomes a complaint. Your discipline becomes a front. His energy becomes an invisible confrontation. Rejection begins to emerge without clear motives. People move away. Looks change. Comments come up. But that's not what you do. It's what you vibrate. The vibration of the king does not supplicate space. It occupies it. And when she enters a place, she shakes everything that is small, pretended, shallow. The king is a mirror that exposes the lack of royalty in others. And those who live in spiritual darkness cannot stand being exposed. So they will avoid you, ridicule you, erase you. But this is when you understand. What rejects you, in fact, recognizes you. You stop following, start commanding. Not by desire for control, but by presence. Your voice changes. It gets firmer. Your posture changes. It gets more erect. Your field changes, attracts and repels at the same time. You stop asking permission to exist and begin to mark territory. The king's archetype does not follow fashion, opinion, or algorithm. It follows mission, vision, and principles. And when this is activated in you,